This is Brother Johnny of the 19 Report, Manning, South Carolina. Jamil Salib Zamir, thanking you sincerely for tuning in for just a few minutes as I was reading through my morning mail and came across a message from Joe Biden. That's the vice president of Barack Obama. Of course, Barack Obama's presidency ended, and but Joe Biden was speaking on yesterday, and on yesterday I did a commentary on the life of Dr. King in his final years before he was assassinated, and comparing that to 2019 and the issues that we face as Black Americans, as ex-slaves, and I was talking about how the system still held us back in accordance to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Noble Drew Ali and many others, especially Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, who talked about racism, white supremacy being a system. On today, Joe Biden, a Caucasian, middle-aged Caucasian, vice president to ex-vice president to Barack Obama, businessman, very successful, talked about the systematic racism that is still a part of the American fiber. And for the people who think that I am, and myself and many others like me, are constantly bringing up issues that you think are racial, that you think are taking one group and saying all of these people are bad, I want you to listen to the words of Joe Biden and judge for yourself. Use discernment to see if what is being said is the same thing that is being said by many of us who believe
The bottom line is we have a lot to root out, but most of all, there's systematic racism that most of us whites don't like to acknowledge even exists. We don't even consciously acknowledge it, but it's been built into every aspect of our system. Because when your schools are substandard, when your houses are undervalued, when your car insurance costs more for no apparent reason, when poverty rates for Black Americans is still twice that of white Americans, when Barack says if your name is Jamal and your name is Jim, and you have the same qualifications and Jim gets the job, there's something we have to admit, not you, we, white America has to admit, there's still a systematic racism. And it goes almost unnoticed by so many of us.
There you have it. That is Joe Biden speaking at the National Action Network in remembrance of the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. That was Joe Biden again admitting, acknowledging that there is a systematic racism that makes people of color, Black people, put us under more pressure to succeed, and even after trying to succeed, being held back. And this can go on for a long time. We can talk about this forever, but I wanted to acknowledge that, and I wanted to acknowledge that a white person, intelligent white man, middle-aged senior white man who knows the system, who has used that system to benefit himself and his family, acknowledging, at least saying, yes, there is a system. Now, taking it, if we can take it further and work towards balancing out that system, then we can say that we are truly Americans and America has indeed become great. But until that time, the once slave, physical slave, now mental slave, and is still suffering. And this is not an excuse or whining. This is absolute fact, and you won't know until you live it. But kudos to Joe Biden. Even if he's just saying it to say it, he said it. And by saying it, you can acknowledge it and realize that white folks realize as well there is a system of white supremacy that cripples black success. And the only way you enter into that system is if you capitulate to the way the system is set up. Docile, non-threatening, play by the rules. But if there is something that you desire to do that it is not in the system of white supremacy, then you are held back from the level of success that you and I can achieve, because there is things that we need that are being held from us due to this system. I hope that is made clear, and I hope that when I begin to speak about systematic racism, we will see it in the same light as Joe Biden represented it or spoke about it, that there is a system, and most people don't acknowledge it. We think this is just the normal, and it's not. So thank you for tuning in to these few minutes. Jamil Salib Zamir of Manning, South Carolina. We need your help. I have posted up on this 3rd that we do have a Patreon account, a PayPal account, and a Cash App. And the reason we need your help is because we're trying to develop a platform on Facebook. Like you see, Jada Pinkett has the Facebook Watch page. We're trying to do the same thing, and we need equipment in order to qualify for the standards that they require in the video quality. And so we need your financial help, financial support to try and build our network on Facebook and also on the YouTube platform with better quality. And many of you understand what I'm saying when I say that. So if you are able to help us, do so, and I promise you that every dime will be accounted for, every name will be listed and acknowledged. So thank you again. This is Jamil Salib Zamir of the 19 Report, Manning, South Carolina. And please look up the rest of the report from the speech from Joe Biden on the birthday of the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Thank you again.